All right, so this one's going to be about how to cut off a family member. And I feel really bad. I don't like sharing too intimate of stories from some of my clients' experiences, but this one came from a client call. And a situation was essentially that a family member who has been in and out of their life is sort of withdrawing or withholding their love, right? Promising to help, coming back, promising to change, and then sort of changing their minds last minute when they don't get what they want. And this is inherently toxic behavior. Like if someone came into your life, promised you they would change, but then they don't, and then they show you who they are, and then their word is not kept, and they just go back and forth, they're unreliable. You would probably cut this person off if this was a partner or a friend. But it feels different when it's a family member, but it shouldn't be. And here's why. Every time I talk with a client, I have this talk with every single client at some point, because this was the biggest lesson for me, is that when someone doesn't keep their words and their actions aligned, or they can't even simply keep their word and they let you down or they break a promise, what they're doing is they're lowering your self-worth, because you're continuing to allow that person to remain in your space, right? To have access to you. You're giving them some sort of attention. And it feels like this should be given automatically. Like we want to give our family and our friends our time, our attention, our affection, our interest, our support. And it should be unconditional. But when a family member makes something conditional, such as offering to help you move or show up or take a trip with you, or hey, you can leave your stuff at my place, and hey, I want to help you out with a loan, and then they withdraw that because you all of a sudden aren't meeting a condition that they haven't even expressed, right? This is inherently toxic behavior. This is withholding love. This is withholding attention. This is gaslighting 101. This is toxic behavior. So what do you do in a situation like that? How do you maintain your authority? How do you maintain your integrity? How do you keep your emotional cool? How do you stop yourself from going crazy? Well, it's really tough, and you're not going to want to hear this, but you have to cut this person off, okay? You have to literally tell them and say, hey, there's a line in the sand here. You continue to come into my life offering to help, then withdrawing it, and it's making me feel crazy, right? And I don't like how you are making me feel by withdrawing your love, your attention, your offerings when you don't like something or you happen to change your mind. It is not consistent behavior, and it is very difficult for me to mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually deal with. Whatever line it is that you have to say, I would recommend that when you communicate with someone or are preparing to cut someone off or explaining yourself about how you feel to someone and preparing to let them go, that you maintain your emotional cool. People love to see you get emotional. People love to see you falter and fail and fall down. Everyone loves to watch a train wreck. But if you can maintain your stoicness, I'm not telling you not to be emotional, but I'm telling you to maintain your cool when you are cutting someone off, and you say it rather stoically, you are going to absolutely scare the shit out of someone, okay? And then you say, I do not want you to come back into my life with this or that until you get a situation figured out, right? In this case, it was kind of more of a mental health thing, you know, cutting a family member off who's suffering from mental health and is not really aligning their words and their actions. And my client was awesome. She was like, yeah, this is something I need to do, and she's working towards it, and I fully believe that she's going to do this. But this was causing her a lot of emotional distress, and I hated to see that. And it's very difficult to cut a family member off because there's obviously repercussions with your other family members. How do you explain that? Should you explain that, right? Everybody's going to know your business. Are you now the bad guy, right? Is this a permanent thing? Am I going to be able to not let this person back into my life for the rest of my life? We have a million different questions here, and I'm just rambling at this point, but it's okay to cut a family member off if you need to, whether it's permanently or whether it's temporary. You don't really have to decide. But you do have to decide to maintain your authority, your autonomy, your integrity. That is the most important and sacred thing at the end of the day. If you don't have that, you can't have anything else. Make sense? See you guys in the next one.